Hello, hello, hello. We are back. How you doing today? Thank you so much for joining me on this live. I'm really excited to be here. How are you? Are you excited to be here? How is life on this beautiful day? Ooh, yeah. I'm excited to be here. And I'm excited to have you here for our Sunday self improvement. Today's a special day. Today is a very special day. It's the final full moon of the year. And I think because of that, it's a great opportunity for us to take a moment, take some time to reflect on the year that has been. It's the final full moon of this year. And that's a really good time for you to reflect, for you to release, and for you to set intentions for what you are wanting to accomplish in the year ahead, in the days and weeks and the months ahead. But a lot of times we can't truly move forward until we have reflected and oftentimes released the things, good and bad, right? Sometimes we can hold on to victories just as much as we can hold on to our failures. And when I'm saying victories in the past, like, you kicked ass yesterday or last year, 30 years ago, you were the best of this and the best of that, and you're stuck. You're stuck. Wishing that you still were doing that, still rehashing all those victories of the past. And I think that even that brings about grief. Just like if you had some major failures in your past, those can also bring about a process of grief, depression, not wanting to let go, being sad. You know that most mental health professionals still to this day are hesitant. There's been studies done on this that most mental health professionals are still very apprehensive and hesitant to diagnose men with depression. Right? When a man is just not feeling up to speed or feeling down, right? The diagnosis of you're depressed is still something that there's a bias there. Men are supposed to suck it the fuck up, walk it off, man, man up. How's that working for people? How's that working? 50% of men overweight, 2,000 men killing themselves every day. And all we need to do is to expand our emotional vocabulary, is self-awareness, is really learning how to honor our emotions. That doesn't make us a little pussy. That doesn't make you, weak, right? I think it's the real biggest flex. I'll put my resume, not only mental work, the emotional work, the spiritual work, the physical work, the financial work, up against any guy that's out there. And I know there's a lot that just preach it's all about the bag, it's all about the body, it's all about the chick. And it's like, how many men have built their lives around those things only to still feel a sense of emptiness, void, unfulfillment? And even for the women that are listening, right? There's something more to life than just these external accomplishments, even just the physical body. It's having that total health. That's the real flex. And so if you're joining me today, I've put in some extra work to be able to better support you. And I've been talking about this for some time now on the videos, and I appreciate everyone that's new to the channel, tuning in, hearing my message, not just listening. And that's the main point, is I'm not here to entertain you. This is not an entertainment channel, just shits and giggles. This is about investing. This is a channel primarily focused on investing. And what are we investing in? Ourselves. Right? We're investing in ourselves. We're putting in the real work to help us to become the greatest versions of ourselves. That we know that we've lived enough life that, just being healthy doesn't get me through the heartbreak of a breakup or a job loss or a major life transformation, right? That was unexpected, right? Even wealthy people. Why do very successful wealthy people kill themselves? Why they off themselves? Right? If it's all about the money. And so this is a channel where we talk about putting in the work, real work. And it's an investment in yourself. And so I have something very special that we'll do today as a part of this session. If you haven't already, you can go and download the Results Kill Excuses app. And in there, I'm going to share my screen. In there, you're going to find if you've been into the app, this section here is a part of the classroom. It's the printable course files. If you haven't been on the app yet, download the app. It's free. Right now there's 25 courses, but I have something very special for you guys today. Right here on the bottom, this full moon recap worksheet. Click on that. So you should be able to see this form, and we'll go through this. I put this together just for you today to be able to really do some work, to invest, so that you can set yourself up for even greater and greater successes. So we'll get back to that, but I just wanted to let you know that there are 2 worksheets ready to go. If you have a printer, if you've downloaded the app, and if you haven't, guess what? I'll still go through this, and you can just have a piece of paper. You can just have a journal, a blank piece of paper, and you can still follow along as we get into doing that work here shortly, which I'm really excited about, because I do believe this is the gift, right? This is my gift to you. This is my calling. I'm not here, like I said, I can't say it enough. I'm not here for entertainment. I am truly here to serve people that are looking to invest in themselves, look to quit making excuses and start stacking the results. Shut off the distractions. And this is the time to do that. Real talk. I'm going to tell you guys real talk, right? I truly do believe these full moons are an incredible time, as I see 11:11 here, Mountain Standard Time. It's an incredible time to release, to let go of some stuff, to clear out some of the clutter, right? If there's a space in your house that you need to clear out clutter, like, you do it now. Simplify things, clear out your vehicle, reset the energy. Here's another area where I personally, with intention of love and forgiveness and letting go, is I went through my phone, and I think a lot of you could probably benefit from this same exercise. I went through my phone and I got into my pictures. Do you know where I'm going with this? And I deleted every picture of me with someone that I'm no longer with. And I usually do that as a ritual, as a ceremony of release. When I know that a relationship has been expired, I definitely feel it's really important. We're still holding on to energy. We're still clinging on to the past, and that keeps us in the past. And what happens when you're stuck in the past? How do you move forward? How can you expect to move forward if you're still grieving everything that happened in the past? And so I went through in a ceremonial fashion, I even burned some Palo Santo, and I gave honor to the memories, right? To those images and those memories and those good times. Because usually we take pictures of the good times, we don't take pictures of the bad times. And that's where so many people can lose focus. When you have all of those pictures still in your phone and you go back through them and you see the good times, well, if it was so good, then why are you not still together? See, we don't take pictures of the bad times. We don't take pictures of the things that cause misalignment and frustration and, needs unmet, or just right person, wrong time. Whatever it is, if you continue to go back and dwell and long and yearn and grieve and be sad and heartbroken, how do you expect to move forward with your life? The truth is, you're not. There's a lot of you that have been grieving for, my opinion, far too long. Far too long. And I believe that the time is now for you to start really taking some intentional steps towards releasing and letting go. And right now, full moon, big last full moon of 24, it's not just about the full moon, it's about the whole year. To go back through images, let go. To go back through your house and let go. Let go of things that no longer serve you. Let go of things you no longer need. When I was going through my recovery, my initial stages of breaking free from my addictions, I think anybody that knows that's a user, whether it's alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, right? We have a like kind of a collection, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna be sober, but I'm gonna keep the collection. The collection's just gonna be there. Just know, it has value. Why would I just toss it out? Because you just let this shit go. Let it go. What is your peace? What is your next level version of yourself? What is that worth? Is that worth a few $100s that you just have sitting there of shit that is only going to keep you held back for another month, another week, another year, another 5 years? And so it's like, you got to start living life with greater intentions. So that's just real talk on my part, is something that a ritual and the ceremony I did last night was, it had been kind of coming up for me. And I said, I got it now, right now. It's full moon. This is the time to go through. And it was emotional, and that's another part of it. I didn't do this out of anger. I didn't do this out of spite. I did this out of love. Because the truth is as humans, we don't ever stop loving. If you love somebody, right, you still love that person, even though you're hurt, even though you're not together. Like, that's something that you can be honest with yourself about. And these are some of the delusions. I saw a guy yesterday, and this is the wrong information, but he's a big time influencer, kind of a, man's type man, a lot of women always around him. And his advice for getting over a breakup was, you probably guessed it, getting right back into more relationships. And it's like, fuck, man. That is the textbook example of why the body, the bag, and the relationships don't solve your problems. That's flawed. That's using people, right, That's using people. That's one of the biggest violations of this divine experience is you cannot do things that cause other people harm. So if you're over there using people, like some of you use drugs, but some of you use people for your fucking kicks, for your pleasure, and you have no intention on any kind of commitment, and everybody's acting as if it's okay. Well, it's just casual or whatever. I don't think there's anybody on this planet from an adult perspective that really just wants some casual shit. I think we all want to feel like we found our person, that we actually belong to somebody. And I always try and relate that to like feeling like somebody is your home. I used to say my other half, or so I need that person to complete me. That was all trauma based. And I've healed this stuff, right? I've healed that because I used to be that guy saying, uh-oh, right? This relationship's going to end. I better go drum up another one so I don't have to deal with the pain, so I don't have to deal with what really happened in that relationship that I need to work on in myself. And that this is the whole thing. Results kill excuses. Life on life's terms. When one relationship ends, and I had one end recently, I'm not jumping in other relationships. That's not going to solve my problems. And as a full-grown man, that's very healthy. That's a lot of testosterone naturally. Sure, I have a lot of unmet sexual needs right now. That's real talk. That's what we do here. But that doesn't give me a reason to go and womanize and use women for those needs. I need more than that at this age. I was talking to a buddy yesterday about this, right? We both kind of have gone through some separations, and it's just like, I don't want that energy. I'd rather not have that energy, and I'd rather not take advantage of somebody, because I don't think that really sets myself up for what I truly desire, for what I'm truly envisioning and wanting to pull into my life. And this doesn't have to just be a relationship conversation. This can be about success. This could be freedom from addiction. It's like you can apply it in the Results Kill Excuses app. One of my favorite courses is breaking up with my addictions. And addiction is anything that's got a hold of you that you can't do life without. And so it can be anything. But some people absolutely use people. And that's what's caused so much hurt and pain in this world. Because we're not willing to work on ourselves. Right. And an exercise, if you are in a state of heartbreak, or it could even just be a job loss or in between jobs, and in a situation where something that you were used to is gone, and now you're sort of in this unknown, a great exercise that I do, pen and paper, is I write out 2 lists. The first list is I write a list of everything that I feel I did good or right within that situation. I write my accolades. I give myself credit that I did some good things. We've all done good things. And then on the other side, I write areas that I feel I could have done better. And a lot of people struggle with that. And this is one of those areas why you're stuck, is because you're like, well, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to write this shit down. But you have time to doom scroll. You have time to watch, hours on end of other people performing at the highest level. I mean, you have the time. Just, is it important enough to you? And this is like the most important work that you could ever do. This is the greatest investment of your time. Did you hear that? This is the greatest investment of your time, is when you start working on yourself, start figuring yourself out. I was literally at these hot springs the other day. And I just have all of these weird, crazy experiences with people. I just run into people and it's like, okay, like it was meant to be. This was manifested. And I'm over there shooting one of the videos. And I get into this lobster pond. There's another guy already in there. And out of nowhere, he says, "Who are you talking to down there?" Because I had the camera. And I said, "Well, I'm talking to the world." And he's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I'm talking to everyone that hears my voice." And then it just got silent between me and him. And eventually he started speaking. He said something along the lines that, "I heard that when you're exactly where you're meant to be, that the world will hear you." And it was like confirmation of him, but it gets even better. We had like this really deep conversation. This guy was a Marine. I was a corpsman with the Marines. We didn't know this at first, but eventually, we just kept going back and forth talking about all life, right? All of these things. And this was a guy that was kind of struggling, feeling like I'm not good enough. I've given up. He kind of had that I've given up attitude, man. I don't give a shit, man. I just give up, man. I'm just going to lick my wounds and keep to myself and, don't bother me type of attitude, as if he's not somebody that can make an incredible impact on this planet. Did you know that you're that person right now? You're chosen. If you're here listening to this, it's not an accident. It's not an accident. You're chosen. What do I mean by that? That means that there is something incredibly unique, special, and valuable inside of you that you need to discover, that you actually probably already know it's there. You don't know how to use it and what it's for because you have all this shit on top of it. These limiting beliefs, this doubt, this guilt, this shame, the inner critic holding you back. You got all of these opposing ideas about who you are now that makes you feel that whatever you think you could be, it's just not even worth it. So you just say, fuck it, man, fuck it. I'm over it. That was this guy. But what was cool is that we ended up going out into town to get a bite to eat. Like we both wanted to buy the other guy dinner because we knew it was just like, man, this was meant to be. This was like, this encounter was divine. It's very very powerful. Just like you being here right now, it's no different. And what was so cool, I wish I could have got the picture. I should have got the picture. But I gave him one of the stickers and he's like, man, you're not going to believe this. Right. And he goes and he like pulls down his lip, and on the inside of his lip was tattooed "kill," exactly like how the logo is. And he's like, man, like you can't make this shit up. And I'm like, you're right, you can't make this shit up. That's how you know that the things that we're talking about, that I believe in my heart that he summoned me. He manifested me to be there to plant seeds, whether he's going to take action on those things and really start to believe in himself, invest in himself, to be determined. You get a choice. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do anything. You get to do whatever you want to do. You're a grown ass adult, remember? Go do whatever you want to do today. But that's getting the same results that you've been getting. And if you want something new right now, today, depending on when you're watching this, it does not matter. Today is the time for you to realize that you need to take your power back. You are not helpless. You are not your past failures. You are not your past mistakes. You are not all the guilt. You are not all the shame. You are not too old. You are not too fat. You are not too ugly. You are not too whatever, fill in the blank that you want to criticize yourself about. None of that's true. You are perfectly in the right place right here, right now. And this is when you can start to take those leaps of faith. But it takes investing your time, your focus, your energy. And that's really no regrets. You guys don't even, you won't even realize how much energy I've put into just the last, I don't know, 24 hours. Just working on things to be able to just give. Whether one person uses it or nobody uses it. I'm just still telling the universe, I'm telling God, look, I'm here. I'm showing up no matter how many people show up. I'm going to be here. And it will eventually come back. The message is being received. It is being heard by many people. And I thank you for being a part of this. And if you're ready to invest, this is where you start. Download the app, Results Kill Excuses, right? There's 5 courses, 25 lessons, all about self-discovery. Self-discovery is the first step after you come to an awareness saying, man, I'm screwing up my life. I'm going to take responsibility. Yeah, I've been fucking up and I don't want to do that no more. That's called self-sabotage, self-destruct, self-loathing, right? And then you start to switch. So you say, well, I need to discover, man, why? Why am I doing this? What's really going on? And if you can't do it by yourself, you can reach out to me, Greg at resultskillexcuses.com, and we'll sit down and talk. And it'll be scary for you to ask for help. It was scary for me to ask for help, but I'll be honest, I hit the fucking rock bottom so damn hard. I felt like was nothing at that point, nothing was going to stop me from getting some results, from getting what I truly wanted, which is the greatest gift I've given to myself. You want to know what that greatest gift was? Wasn't getting back in shape, wasn't having a 5-star Airbnb and making, over 6 figures, wasn't any of that. The greatest gift I've given to myself was trusting myself, was truly seeing me for who I am, loving myself, taking care of myself. And I can tell you along this journey, a lot of people from the outside would come in and say, man, when is it going to be enough? And I'm just like, I don't think that ever ends. I wake up every single day and I need to reset and stay locked in. Continue living life with an intention that today's the greatest day of my life. I'm not chalking up the wins from last week. Last week I hit a new deadlift PR. Great. What the fuck does that have to do with today? I gotta go do it again. Maybe even pick up a little more. Maybe pick up a little less. What matters is that I'm still picking it up and putting it back down. And that's called life, living life. Some of y'all are just existing. You're just existing, which is, if you're asking me, is selfish. That's the real selfish shit. Selfish isn't working on yourself. It's not investing, just an incredible amount of time into who you are, because when you do that, you get the return on your investment. You do become the better version of yourself. And when you're a better version of yourself, all you want to do is see other people become the best version of themselves. And then you start giving from a place of abundance versus a place of scarcity. You start saying, you know what? A relationship didn't work out. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to work on myself a little more. I'm going to find areas that I can be better. I'm going to really value the areas that I know that I've demonstrated growth and improvement and healing. And I'm not going to just go and track someone else down to satisfy my pleasure with no intentions of making a commitment. That never leaves you happy. I know that. I know that. And this is real talk. This is what we do here. It's no bull. It's just no bullshit around this place. And the reason being is because that's what I had to do. I had to stop bullshitting myself, and I clearly had to stop bullshitting others. Because I can tell you, as part of my trauma responses growing up, I taught myself that if I ever got in trouble or someone was mad at me for doing something, that I didn't want to take that heat. So I would lie. Right? And I became a really good liar, or at least I thought I was. We all think we're good liars. And it's like, nah, man, we ain't lying. And if you want to do one thing moving forward in 2025, if you struggle with telling the truth, start telling the truth and see that your life doesn't change. Just that. You don't have to change your nutrition. You don't got to go to the gym. You want to improve your life, start telling the truth. And it starts with you. Tell yourself the truth. And stop blaming other people and situations that are in the past. It's gone. Bye-bye. It's gone. Y'all know the past don't exist, right? It's gone. But if you're still carrying around the burden or the dusty old trophies from the past, you're missing the most important time of your life, which is the now. The now. This is what you got. What are you going to do with this time? As I talked to that 76-year-old gym rat yesterday with the biggest smile and the biggest energy of anybody I saw at the gym yesterday, 76 years young, right? Still looking lean, but just the energy on him, it was like, I'm like, why are you still here, man? Well, you could just be kicking back. You're 76, bro. You could just be sitting back. He's like, dude, I don't want to waste away. I can't waste away, man. I'm not built like that. I'm not here to waste away. I'm the same way. I find so much inspiration when I run into elders at the gym. I always go talk to them. I always talk to them. And I encourage you to do the same. When you go to, if you can find the courage, right, to get your ass into the gym, even being out of shape and lifting little light weights, right? You look around, you're gonna be like, hey man, it changes your whole reality. Because maybe you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and you're thinking, oh man, I'm falling apart. The reason why you're falling apart is because you're not taking care of yourself. The reason why you got aches and pains is because you're not exercising, you're not moving your body. And at some point, you are going to break down. At some point, you are going to be immobilized, and you don't have a choice. But instead, you do. Right now, if you're hearing my voice, you have a choice. You have the power to change your life. I don't even know if it's that we forget what care is. We don't get taught self-care. Self-care. Ask yourself that right now. What does self-care mean to you? Like taking care of myself? Well, I pay my bills, I shower, brush my teeth, I eat. But it's like in those things, for sure, eating, depending on what you're eating, you could be actually harming yourself. And some of you are doing it intentionally, some of you are doing it subconsciously, and some of you are doing it totally oblivious. Right? You're just going about, just feeling every craving that comes up as if somehow your body is in control of you. Man, if you are that weak minded that you literally every craving has to be like given, but it's like When you go on the scale, when you look in the mirror, you hate yourself, you hate who you see, you're embarrassed of the body you're walking around with, which again, it's one of the only things you can't buy. And it's one of the things that everybody judges you on, and you know this. That's why you're ashamed. That's why you're not going to the gym, because you're like, I don't want to be judged. I'm gonna be over here all fat. I used to be a badass, and now I'm fat and older, can't barely even push weights. And that's a big part of this thing is you got to be able to swallow that pride. That ego death is so important. Hello, everybody. That ego death is so important. We get so attached to our ego, and that ego, it's just like, no, don't do this, don't do that. You're not good enough. Never stops. It never stops. And you got to stop with that. And if you need help, reach out. Reach out. But I do think that today's going to be a great opportunity for us to do some investments. If you're just hopping on here or you haven't, you can see down below on the ticker, there are 2 worksheets located in the Results Kill Excuses app that would need to be printed out. I don't make any of my worksheets digital, fill-inable. There is something so powerful about putting the pen to the paper. And I think that's what a lot of people need to reconnect with. A lot of us gave up on doing that when we were kids because we hated school. But there's something so powerful. This pen is a mighty thing. Because what most of you don't realize, I can guarantee you most of you don't realize how powerful you are, but you are the author of this story called your life. And if you're the author, you're also the editor. And you can go back, as we will today, and reflect. And if you're honest with yourself, you can talk about areas that you need to improve and get better, which is a mantra, 1% better every day. But you can also, in this moment, right now, allow yourself permission to imagine how your story ends from this day forward. You can imagine how this story ends. And what story is it? Is it the greatest comeback? Is it the most incredible story ever told? Because for you to live the most incredible story ever told, that doesn't mean my life has to suck. But we're all so worried about, well, man, they're already living their best life and they're doing that and they're doing this and shit, I can't keep up. And that's the problem. You keep looking out the window when you should be looking in the mirror. If you look in the mirror, guess what? It's a reflection of you. If you don't like what you see, inside and out, then you have the power to transform any aspect of that. But you have to be the participant of that process. And you have to realize that you have the power. And it does start with writing this shit down. Because we want to figure it out in our head. And what I've realized when I was an elementary teacher for a few years, I taught 4th and 5th grade. It reminded me of myself. And I remember I wasn't really loving writing. I didn't love to read a whole bunch and I didn't love to write. I don't even read a whole bunch now. I listen to a lot of stuff. I'm grateful for that type of technology because I'm always on the go and I'm driving. And so I can consume vast amounts of knowledge audibly. But I realized I didn't really love to write so much. I didn't really do so good in English class. And I know most people don't. I still have some occupational ties with higher education. So I connect with high school age students all the time. And they're beat down. They're beat down by math and they're beat down by English. And the truth is, there's a pretty good chance you listening to this right now feel the same. You don't like to write shit down. And a lot of times it's like we got this technology. Hey, AI, what's the hardest problem times the hardest problem times the hardest problem? And then it's like, boom, gives you the answer. You don't even got to type it no more. Hey, write me a whatever book in this type of context and this dialect. And it's like, brr, it's done. 1 second. So all we want is now. And yet, pen, paper is the power. It's the most powerful thing you can do. Because what happens is all that criticalness, all that negativity that's going on in your mind, right? When you just keep letting it go round and round and round, and then you're wondering, man, I never sleep. I don't sleep good. I don't feel good throughout the day. I'm eating my emotions. Nothing. I'm stuck. And it's not even that you're stuck. You're just going round and round right in here. It's round and round and round you go in your mind. And the way you break that is you take whatever's in here and you put it on the paper. And that's really the heart of all of the coursework I do. For those of you that are new to the content, like I'm utilizing not only my own healing experience, I'm utilizing 20 years of being a graphic designer experience. I'm utilizing my teaching background, both as a chainsaw instructor for disaster responses to being in education for over 10 years, both at public education and higher education. And it's like I've designed worksheets, right, that I believe make writing more fun. But there are some journal prompts where you got to write. And if you've taken a look at the sheets that are on the app for today's lesson, for the full moon reflection 2024, there is a writing exercise there. But it's the worksheets. It's like when the teacher says, hey, do you want to write a 5-page essay or do you want to do like a vocabulary worksheet? I was always a kid, man. I loved the vocabulary worksheets. The 5-page essays, fuck, dude, I hated that shit. I just didn't like it. I struggled. But again, even with the struggle, I persevered, right? I got through high school, joined the military, took my first college classes deploying to the Middle East on a ship. Those college classes are still with me today. And post me hitting my rock bottom and walking out of an industry that didn't align with me, I was getting sober and I was working in the beer industry. I said, I got to step away from this. I can't be profiting and purveying my livelihood off of something that I no longer agree with. Right? And it's alcohol and the use of alcohol. And that's my opinion. And from that point forward, I found myself using my veteran benefits, going back to school, and not just getting 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees. I have a master's degree. And that's something that when I was in high school, I never looked at myself as college material. And the reason why is because I didn't know anybody that had ever been to college. I'm like, I don't have no business there. I'm gonna go to the military, learn structure, learn discipline. But I'll tell you one thing I learned in the military really early on was everybody that showed up in the military with college, they got more money, better food, better like living accommodations, and they got to be in charge of everybody. And I didn't learn that kindergarten through 12th grade. I didn't learn that fact of life. And what I tell high schoolers now, and even telling adults, because again, I got my 3 college degrees in my 30s, and this was after having a very successful entrepreneurial experience, making more in a year, making more in a month than I do in a year from like a few of my different sources of income is college. A college education isn't going to get you rich. I tell all these kids that it's not going to get you rich, but I guarantee you that if you look at any job posting and you look at this society at large, when there is a college requirement, it's going to pay you more money. And I don't know anybody that doesn't want more money. And I know that I used to write that piece of paper off saying, fuck, man, I don't need a fucking paper. Bill Gates didn't need the paper. Zuckerberg, all these famous jobs didn't need the paperwork. Why do I need the paper? And I'm just letting you know, in my life, I like to be as well-rounded as possible. I don't like having weaknesses. And so for me to have education, right, for me to be healthy, fit, right, for me to have a healthy mind, stability with my emotions, financially secure, right? Like multiple streams of income, giving back. Like I try to be the total man. The greatest version of myself is no weak spots. And that's not arrogance. This isn't cockiness. This is confidence. This is knowing that I have earned every single thing that I have. No one's giving me shit. And so even if you're an adult and you're like feeling that you're locked into something, but you don't know how to, or you're afraid to try something new, go back to school, I can promise you that your college experience would not be a repeat of your high school experience. If you fucking hated school in high school, college is different, especially if you're going to like a trade school. And I always tell kids this, right? You're forced to go to this shit. It's a waste of their time. But at least if in college, if you know that there's something you want to learn about, maybe it's a trade, right? Maybe it's a certain professional pathway. Like you're gonna have, hopefully you have some interest in it, and it's not just for money. Hopefully it's a part of who you are. When you have alignment saying, okay, I've been a, you know, a sous chef at a restaurant or a waiter for 10 years. And my dream has always been to be a nurse or whatever, some kind of medical. It's like, you can do that. Search this. I mean, I should even just search this for you guys, but it's like so incredible. You can search any situation that you're in. Someone has been in that situation and they have succeeded in ways that is so inspiring. The other day I was searching and there's literally people that have their stories out there that went from being the janitor at a hospital to a registered nurse at the same hospital. Think about that. They went from being the fucking janitor, cleaning up the shitters and the toilets and all the hallways, to doing night school and becoming a registered nurse at the same hospital. How did they do that? Because they believed in themselves. Because they didn't make the fucking excuses to hold themselves back. They started taking action. And that's the coolest thing, is that once you start taking action, the things you're afraid of, the things you think are too big, they start to shrink because your energy starts to expand. That is the biggest part of success. The biggest ingredient, the most important ingredient to success is your belief. And what will hold you back 9 times out of 10 is before you take action, you're going to ask everybody else what they think about it, what they think about your idea. Ain't nobody give two shits about your idea. They're too stressed about their own life and their own misery and their own sadness and their own stress and their own situation, that they are not going to just be like, yes, that's the best idea I've ever heard. I think you should totally do it and I'll support you all the way. If you have someone like that in your life, you are blessed. You are blessed if you have somebody that will give you unconditional support. Most people won't. It has strings attached. And that's why when you have these ideas, it's important for you to hold them in your own heart and start searching for ways for you to get through it. look for somebody doing that, that doesn't know you, that maybe can mentor you. But for you to go to people that you know aren't living their best lives and doing doing the things that they probably could be doing, and then to share a big dream with them as if somehow they're gonna all anoint you, fuck no, they're gonna try and shoot that shit down. Because when you start to go and do these things and they're still there not doing the things, they're gonna want to pull you back. They're gonna want to rope you back in. That's the facts of life. This is the facts of life. Are you the person trying to hold other people back? A lot of time we do this in relationships, intimate relationships. I could tell you, I got married when I was 19 years old, and my now ex-wife was 18. That's kids. That's kids getting married. Do you think that over the course of the 20 years that being in that relationship, both of us were able to truly become the best versions of who we could be? No, right? There's a sense of complacency when we have a story written that somehow life's fulfillment is finding the person and building a life around them. That by finding your person, you're complete now. Everything's good. And a lot of times in those types of toxic, codependent, enmeshed relationships, right? It's going to stunt you. It's going to hold you back. And if you allow yourself to be held back, then right, it's on you. And a lot of people are okay with that. And if you're okay with that, it's your life. It's your life. But when you get to the end of your life and you're frustrated and you hear this from older people, the elders, what is one of the regrets, or what is one thing they would have told their 20-year-old self or 30-year-old self or even their 40-year-old self that they could have done different? It's like, I wish I would have done more things that mattered to me and not made my whole life around what everyone else wanted, what everyone else. I mean, there are some people that are literally living out their parents' dream for them, and they're miserable. Miserable. You're miserable because mom, dad, family said you need to go do this, which is a limiting belief because you're like, uh-oh, I'm scared. Uh-oh, my family's saying I better go do that. I don't want to be abandoned by them. I need to feel like I still belong. And families can be nasty like that. Like if you don't do what they say, you're cut off. Like dang, hostage situations here. Right? And these are some of the hardest lessons for many people to awaken to. These are spiritual. This is a spiritual awakening because we have this spirit of possession that exists, ancestral. Ain't nobody own you. And yet that's a spirit of possession, and it's an authoritarian energy. And I was raised with that. I mean, the parents that I had were always like, I brought you in this world, I can take you out. Don't you talk down to me, right? Just like this real hierarchy of like, do as I say, not as I do. Don't you dare judge me for what I'm doing. You better stay in line. And it's like, whoa. I'm just trying to call a spade, but no, I guess we can't do that. And that's one of the things through therapy that my therapist shared with me, even as a dad, is, that's all trauma based, is when we want possession. My kids, you're my kids, right? It's like, ain't nobody your kids. Nobody is your kids. If you get spiritually awakened enough, you're going to realize that your children are not your kids. They're actually here to be your trainers, to teach you lessons, and not the other way around. And then if you even get beyond that, right? I believe in reincarnation. And I believe that as a soul family, as a soul tribe, as oneness, like we switch roles, right? Your daughter, this go around could have been your partner, could have been your mom last time, 10 times ago. But yeah, it's the ego. This is the ego. You're mine. This is mine. And so many people lock themselves in for their entire lifetime. As I just saw 555, which is a symbol of change, right? We're going to get into some change here in a minute. So stick around. If you haven't, download the Results Kill Excuses app. And if you go to the printed materials section, there's two worksheets. I'm going to be pulling them up and I'll walk you guys through how to fill in those worksheets. If you don't want to do any of that, just get yourself a piece of paper and a pen and have that ready. And I will do that. I actually went vegan in 2020. A lot of people don't know that. That was one of the biggest transformations of me switching who I was. I was one of the biggest assholes about vegans and vegetarians. I resisted that shit. And then I met somebody and they introduced me to it. And I'm not like an activist type, but I started eating vegan and it changed my life. I mean, it like eating your health is the most important piece. What you eat is more important than how much you move. If you're trying to um, become more optimal. And it's not for everybody though. That's the other thing I've learned. Right? That's the other thing. I've added some animal proteins recently just because I feel like nutrition is so. I can tell you that most people have limiting beliefs around nutrition that it's sort of like you get brought up with a certain type of diet, a certain type of taste, and it's like you stay locked in there. And I saw myself in my 30s, I was still eating like I was in my 20s and my teens. And it's like, I was a fat fucking guy. I was going to die in my sleep. And yet I had a nutritionist fighting against me, right? To basically say, man, you need to switch your nutrition. You need to make a lot of adjustments. And I was so resistant, man. You're not going to tell me I want to eat. I need that. That was, I'm telling you, most people are eating their emotions. And the emotions I'm talking about is negative emotions, unhealed emotions. These cravings are literally addictions. You craving sweet food, you're craving really heavy processed, salty, fat-filled food. This is your trauma responses. You have unhealed emotions so that you're eating. Your craving is like, oh man, I don't feel loved right now. I don't feel appreciated. And it's like, next thing you know, you're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna. You negotiate with yourself. Okay, I'm not gonna go get fucking blitzed out of my brains. But I'm at the store, or there's a fast food place there. Let me go get this extra meal, fucking double burger, fries, all this bullshit. And you want it's the quick relief. You want that relief. You want those endorphins. You want that, oh, okay, I feel better about myself. When all you really need to do is be like, wait, what's going on in my life? Why am I feeling like this right now? Where is this coming from? This is the spiritual part. Where is this feeling coming from? Yeah, I'm feeling sad. Yeah, I'm feeling unloved right now. I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot of shit going on in my life. Like, this is a conversation you'd have with yourself quietly. And you feel that pain. You locate where that pain is. Where's the discomfort? It's not usually in your mind, it's in your body. You figure out where it's at. Sometimes it's in your stomach, your lower abdomen. Sometimes it's in your chest. Me, I always had the heart chakra blockage because my heart's been fucking betrayed so many goddamn times. Fuck. And so right there, that chest would just tighten up so bad. And I just sit there, expand the emotional vocabulary. Right? I showed you guys the emotional wheel last week. I'd be like, all right, well, let's be overwhelmed right now. It's okay to be overwhelmed. There's reasons for it. This is going on, that's going on. But we can be overwhelmed for a few minutes. Let's go ahead and allow that to happen. And let's breathe in it. Let's breathe right into that place in your body. And we breathe into all that. Yeah, I don't know. I and so I'm gonna stay on the emotional piece and not the nutritional transcendent of humanity. Um, yeah, I don't really. I think that's an interesting conversation to have, but I'm not going to allow that to kind of take over this session right now. I appreciate you, Jim, but it's really connecting with how you're feeling, and this is where most men and even women, right? We just don't want to love ourselves enough to connect with how we're really feeling. We're so used to bullshitting people. Tomorrow you're gonna probably show up somewhere. Everybody's gonna be like, "How was your weekend?" "Oh, it was great." But yet you got in a fight. You sat around. You didn't really do shit other than the same shit you've been doing, and that's great. But really, you actually feel like shit. You feel overwhelmed. You feel stressed. The holidays are here. All this shit's going on, but you're just gonna give lip service and act as if somehow that's okay. It's not. It's not okay. Because once you start to get honest with yourself, it's good to know that that's a place that we can all find ourselves, is when we get honest with ourselves. I've been running into a lot of people that when we start talking about the childhood, it's blank. I ran into a woman the other night and we started talking about childhood trauma. And I always ask people, like, what were the things you loved to do as a kid? And she was like, I don't really remember my childhood. And I know why, because it was so traumatic. I could see it in her eyes. I could feel it in her energy, right? That she's been through some shit. And I know there's a lot of people out there like that. So before we worry about flat earths and, humanity, we need to worry about the wounds that we're carrying around that are holding ourselves back. And that's where I want to switch gears right now. And so if you could, we'll do some breath work leading into the journal exercise. And if you're just getting on here, there's a great opportunity for you to, if you haven't already, if you're not on the Results Kill Excuses app, type in those words, Results Kill Excuses, in your app store. If you have a printer, right, you can print out 2 free worksheets that I have in the printed materials section on the app, Full Moon, or I'm going to be presenting the worksheets and you can just have a blank piece of paper and just basically write the same things. So I do want to invite all of you guys to participate. Make that investment in yourself. I started talking earlier about some of the things that I've been letting go of. I cleaned out my vehicle yesterday. I went through old pictures from the past year, deleted, and even went to the recently deleted box. So don't try and trick yourself. Okay, I delete them, but then I went into recently deleted and triple deleted them. And I felt better. And you will too. It's scary to let go when we lose things. A lot of people are in a perpetual state of grief because of the things they've lost. Sometimes it's just losing our youth, right? We grieve just the process of aging, the fact that 30 years has gone by. I was talking to my buddy yesterday and he was telling me about his dad just turning 81. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, I remember being at his 60th birthday party. It's like, dude, where'd all that time go? And there can be grief in that. We could be in a state of denial. We can be angry about it. We can be depressed about it. We can be trying to bargain about it, wishing that we could go back. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to find the fountain of youth, if you want the fountain of youth, I will give it to you right now. The fountain of youth is to connect, to reconnect with the inner child inside of you, and to repair and to restore and to breathe life back into that relationship with yourself, that inner child. It is not gone. That little kid is sitting there in the dark, waiting for super dad or super mom to show the fuck up and to truly see them and hear them and love them and like just see them and hear them. That's really all it takes. That's the fountain of youth. That's not being childish. That's being childlike. That's being youthful. That's allowing yourself to be playful and realizing that it ain't just all about the adult shit. That it's not about hard work and grind. It's about happily working and investing. And I hope to show you that throughout this process now. So, with that being said, I want to do a little bit of breath work just to kind of like reset all this energy. If you can kind of just hold on the comments for the time, let's kind of reset this conversation. We all got opinions, we all got beliefs, and we all want to be seen and heard. That's something I understand. And let's just be present though right now. To be present. Let's not worry about our biases, our beliefs, our differences, our values. Let's just be present knowing that there's a oneness right here. And to do that, I'm going to reset the energy with the singing bowl and we'll start some breath work. And then I'm going to pull up the worksheet. I'm going to walk you guys through that worksheet today. I think it's a very powerful thing. You can at least start on pen and paper today. And if you want to print it out, it's going to be available for you for free anytime on the app. And I'll show you guys exactly where that's at. So thank you for joining me. Let's begin. So go ahead and just start to connect with your breath. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Just normal breathing. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Allow for the life force energy to enter in. Just focusing in on your breathing. Feel free to close your eyes. Feel free to put yourself in a comfortable place. And just allow yourself to be present. Allow your thoughts and your thinking to rest as much as possible. And the way to do that is to just focus in on your breathing. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. In through your nose and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Let go of all the tension, the stress, the worries. And on this next breath, let's try and take it in as deep as you can. And again, you will hold. And as you exhale, I want you to smile with your exhale. I want you to put a smile on your face and hopefully put a smile in your heart and on your eyes. So let's go ahead and take in that deep breath now in through your nose. A little deeper. And hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And smile as you exhale. Smile, smile. Feel the warmth, feel love, feel accepted as you exhale gently out through your mouth. Go ahead and try that one more time. In through your nose, deep. Take one more gulp in and hold. And if you can, if you have your eyes closed, maybe focus in on your third eye. Start to imagine your success for 2025. Set an intention. Go ahead and keep holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Let it all out with a smile. With a smile. Let's go ahead and do this one more time. Deep breath in through our nose, all the way in. One more. And hold again. Focusing in on that third eye right between your eyebrows. Setting an intention. Give yourself a word for 2025. So you hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax with a smile. Blow it all out. Let it all go. Just feel that warmth. Feel the love. Feel the energy within you. And as you reconnect with your normal breathing, just in through your nose and out through your mouth, I do want you to look to the future. Look to this next year. As I see 111 on the timer, I want you to really just give yourself an intention for 2025. I want you to have that intention. And if you have your piece of paper, maybe you can write that down at this point. You can put 2025 intention. And I'm going to share So as I've mentioned before, y'all should be able to see my screen. And this is in the printable course files on the Results Kill Excuses app. You have 2 sheets here that you can download and print. You will need to print it. It's not fill-inable. Again, I've already talked about the power of the pen. And so as you can see here, if you just have a piece of paper, just go ahead and date it. You can almost kind of mimic what's going on here. And you want to go ahead and start by taking a recap on 2024. What I did in 2024. This is a great opportunity for you to just truly start to reflect. And the way that we're going to start to reflect is something that you released. Maybe there's a few things you've released. Maybe you released an addiction. Maybe you released a limiting belief. Maybe you released someone or certain people from your life. So I want you to just we'll do about 30 seconds for you to start writing down. You can obviously go a little deeper. I'm not going to take an extended period of time on this, but I want you to we'll do 30-second sessions on here. So just go ahead and start with the I released and write down some things. This is from 2024. So this is things that throughout this year you have released. And again, if you're just getting on here, these forms are in the Results Kill Excuses app. Free to download under the print materials. You got to print and you have to download them and print them. And so go ahead and just write down that for about the next 10 seconds. I'll give you 10 more seconds. And as you can see, what's up next is some mistakes. Nobody here makes mistakes, correct? It's always other people that are wronging us. But here at Results Kill Excuses, right? We're going to acknowledge some of our mistakes that we made this year. Doesn't matter if it was a little mistake or a big mistake. What are some of the mistakes? I'm grateful to have you here, my brother. And just take about 30 seconds to write down a few of the mistakes that come to mind, some things you can take ownership for. Again, this is the perfect time to do this reflection. A lot of us usually are used to waiting till like the beginning of the year, but let's get a head start on that. Let's build the momentum. And so next, we want to write down a few lessons learned. These could be new lessons. They could have been tough lessons, right? There's all types of lessons. You know, I learned a lesson just this past week where I was resistant and struggling against having to go through this bureaucratic process of paperwork to go into compliance with new regulations on like short-term rentals. And my therapist helped me to reframe, saying, you don't have to do that. You get to do that. And so that was a great lesson learned. Right? I've also learned many other lessons, and this is an opportunity for you to reflect on some of the lessons. And of course, you can download and print out these sheets and really play this back and give yourself more time. Maybe you have a few things that come up now. The cool thing about when you invest in yourself, it's not one and done. This can be an ongoing process for the next few weeks. You can be just kind of thinking, and you're going to have new ideas that pop up as you really start to look back at some of the experiences. Maybe even going through some of your pictures from this past year is going to reignite a memory and saying, oh, shoot, yeah, I remember that. And so next up, we're going to focus on what you accomplished this year. What are some of the things that you set out to do that you actually did? I know for me, in terms of my weight training, I started the year kind of rebuilding my commitment to deadlifting. And at the beginning of the year, I think I was probably pulling 425 when in previous years I've been over 500, 535 is my all-time personal. And I set a real goal to say I want to get back into the 500s, and I did that last week. I pulled 505 after failing the week before. And so that was a really big accomplishment for me. I can tell you launching the app was a big accomplishment for me. Breathing life into this YouTube channel was a big accomplishment for me, right? Connecting, giving of myself. Those are all big accomplishments. How are you holding yourself accountable and accomplishing things each and every day, acknowledging the wins of your life? And next up, I tried new things. I think this alone is one of the coolest lessons of life. And it's something that it's so simple, but it's not easy. We're adults. We don't like to feel like we're a newbie. We don't like to feel a little ignorant or non-masterful of new things. So what's something new that you tried this year? And I believe the real experience is trying something new every day. And it doesn't have to be big things. It's trying a new route to work, trying a new restaurant, trying a new meal, trying new ingredients, right? Newness is all around. There's opportunities for newness each and every day. It's, are you present enough to break free from your programs? Because your programs are a continuation of the past. And in order to have new results and a new experience, you have to release and you have to start doing new things. One exercise that I was taught a few months ago when I went to this recovery conference, great presentation, was saying that you can rebuild your neural pathways, right? Which is what stores your programs of your habitual patterns. So if you think about something as redundant as, yeah, I went vegan in 2020 as well. So when you think about something as redundant as brushing your teeth, what hand do you brush your teeth with? Is it your right hand or your left hand? A lot of times you don't even think about it. You just, but think about it, be present to say, oh yeah, I brush my teeth with my right hand. I would put a challenge out to you for the next 2 weeks to try brushing your teeth intentionally with your left hand. Because if you can train yourself to brush your teeth with your left hand, you can train yourself. Get ready for it, to do anything, to do life without the things that you want to release, right? To do life without the things that are holding you back. So acknowledge some of the new things that you've tried. And then the next two questions is some reflection about assessing yourself for who have you been this year, right? Who have you been in 2024? Not who someone else has been. Everybody's worried about what everybody else has been. Who have you been this year? Have you been the best version of yourself? Have you been someone playing small? Have you been someone that's been avoiding making some real tough decisions in your life and taking some real inspired action, holding yourself accountable? Who have you been this year? And clearly you see, who do you want to be next year? That's being able to say, how do you, from this point forward, how does your story end in 2025? And the only way that you can shift that is by acknowledging in truth, who have you been? Have you been lazy? Have you been complacent? Have you been sad and angry and upset and afraid? Or have you been loving, kind, generous, abundant? Have you been open? Being open is a big thing. Everybody here, I believe that you are being open to trying new things, learning new things, experiencing new things. But take some time to visualize, who do you want to be in 2025? Who do you see yourself at the end of 2025? Who are you now? Write your story for who that person is for the next 12 months. That's a huge accomplishment. And this next one, it's going to get a little challenging. And I'm only going to give you guys this right there. Let's go there. So on the bottom here, you're going to see, what is something you want to let go of in 2025? So as you're sitting here right now, what's something you want to let go of? It could be someone, it could be a limiting belief, right? It could be doubt, fear, shame. It could be emotions that are holding you back. It could be a job. It could be anything. What's something that if you let go of it, it would propel you? It would create a space for something new to come in. Do you realize that when you let go of something, that creates space for newness to come in? And if you're not living with intention, then you're not choosing what that newness is. It's going to probably be similar to what you let go of. But if you allow for that space to be held open and you breathe life into it, then something better will always fill that space. Something more aligned, something that gives you more fulfillment. Now, this next exercise is going to take some time, and I hope that you'll make the time for this. Again, this is perfect for the full moon. And as you can see here, I want you to write a letter to someone you want closure with. Can be written to yourself. And so we won't take up a lot of time for you to truly get into that, but this is really something that you have an opportunity to do. And I'll tell you that the letter you write doesn't have to be sent or handed to the person, right? Sometimes just writing the letter in and of itself is an opportunity for you to set yourself and that person free. And it could be self-directed. So if you've been someone that has been stuck, has been depressed or in grief or just self-sabotaging, right? Maybe you need to write a letter to yourself, a real honest letter. And so I've provided you with one sheet here, but if you do download these sheets, you could print multiple sheets if you need to write an exhausted letter. And that's sort of the whole investment of this. This isn't school, there's no grades. All there is results. And the results is going to be an improved quality of life. And so this is a really reflective experience. What you do with this letter could be multifaceted, right? You can burn the letter, right? Tear up the letter. You could even write a letter to yourself and send the letter to yourself. And maybe it's a letter that you write to your future self and I've had this happen, where you send the letter to yourself and on the letter says, do not open until, a certain day next year, right? Maybe it's a certain Memorial Day. And so you can write this letter to yourself, your future self, and maybe it's an accountability letter. Maybe it's like, hey, right, we're saying we're going to do this shit. When you read this letter on this day next year, could be in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, even a year from today, that did you show up for yourself? Did you actually follow through? And so that's another really powerful piece of self accountability and self respect. So I hope that these tools will benefit you from this point forward. And I know that those of you that put in the investments, you will get a return on your investment. It's guaranteed. This is literally one of the only things that is guaranteed, that if you invest in you in this way, self-improvement, self-discovery, emotional healing, reconnecting with your inner child, guaranteed improved, increased overall quality of life, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, physical health, financial health. You start to improve little by little. My warning to you is to stay locked in, though. So many people are searching for quick fixes, right? It was like the influencer that said, man, the quickest way to overcome heartbreak is to get in another relationship. It's like, no, man, no. There's no lessons learned. Fuck. That's a broken record, man. People are sick and tired of that. I know you're sick and tired of that. It's time to invest. It's time to put in the work. It's time to do the heavy emotional lifting to clear off your mirror. The mirror is there. It's just covered in dust. You need to clear off the mirror. It's time to clear off the mirror. Clean your mirror. And accept what you see, but know that you're not helpless. You can put in the work. And it starts now. And it starts right here. I appreciate everybody that's been subscribing to the channel, sharing the message, and certainly participating in these live streams. I think you see more of where I'm going with this entire community. Right? It's not just for entertainment. This is real learning. And if you're looking for more, I've already said it once, but download the app. There's over a month's worth of self-discovery work, free of charge. I mean, it's $1,500 plus worth of investment for you to truly work on yourself. And just like with these courses, you can print every single worksheet, or, right, you can purchase a workbook, and I would be so honored to send you that. Probably even put in a few other little goodies inside that package. Aside from that, I appreciate everyone that's been supporting the brand Results Kill Excuses and purchasing some merchandise, hoodies, hats, t-shirts, and the like. So if you haven't checked out the store, take a look, get yourself some gear, which I believe is literally wearing your accountability and owning your success. There's lots of energy on that. And so, yeah, your book should be arriving Tuesday. And if you're someone looking for the book, let's get it. Get the book. I actually, just like I've said, I designed every single one of these worksheets, and it's, this is literally the investment, right? Of all of, it's like the composite collective of everything I've experienced, from my teaching to my healing to my design creativity, and just like pouring it out into these lessons that are challenging. It's not easy stuff because it is self-discovery. So you got to look in the mirror. If you haven't already seen it and you would like to do the visualization, I'm not going to do a visualization here today, but I posted up a full moon visualization that I can promise you I was up at, as I see 1, 2, 3, 4, let's go. I was up at late last night and up early this morning because I wanted to gift that to you. And so if you're looking for a visualization that takes you a little deeper into the release and then visualizing manifestation and connecting with your higher self, I highly recommend you find yourself a really peaceful, comfortable place and give yourself about 30 minutes to go through that visualization. It's a powerful one. I know it's got power on it, and we're in that full moon portal right now. So this is the time to cleanse, to release, and to also set intentions for this next year. You recap this past year, it's the final full moon, right? The full moon in and of itself is a reflection, right? It's reflecting the sun's energy. So reflect on your year, release what needs to be released, set clear intentions for what needs to be set so that you have a guiding light for this next year. I love you guys so much. Thank you to everyone that's stuck around for this week's Self-Improvement Sunday 2024 reflection. And I will see you guys next week, and I'll see you a lot sooner if you've been watching the videos and connecting there too. I love you guys so much. Everybody, go have a beautiful day. Get outside, do some sun gazing, do some earthing, invest some time in taking care of yourself. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, come on now, it won't be worth it.